All right, everybody, this week's Picture of the Week is being sponsored by the great folks over at Flowers Garden Center and Deer Processing. They got their garden center open just this past week on April the 1st, and everything is up and running. You guys can go in there and get all of your gardening needs, get ready to get out there and get planted this year and take care of your own vegetables. They've also got a lot of really nice flowers and plants you can choose from. So get down there and check out Flowers and tell them thank you for doing what they do for us here at the show. All right, our first picture, this is our buddy Jake Davis, and Jake is the Central Regional Director for the Tennessee High School Bass Nation. We do a lot of work with Jake and appreciate everything he does, but you know, he can put the fish in the boat himself, so congratulations on that one, Jake, and you guys can give him a call anytime. As a matter of fact, he is a fantastic guide out on several different lakes in Middle Tennessee. All right, our next picture's here. Some of you guys might recognize this guy. This is Addison Johnson, and Addison is one of our country music singers. You know, we're real deep in music here around Nashville, and Addison was on our show, as a matter of fact, about a year and a half ago. He actually played a little music with us here on the show. Big time outdoorsman and angler, and caught this smallmouth here on his kayak the other day. I know that had to have been a pretty fun deal there, so congratulations on that one, Addison. All right, now this might be the fish of the month here. It might even be the fish of the season. I don't know. This is Ryan Manners with a 12.38 pound bass that he caught this past week. That's his new personal best. Guys, we didn't put both pictures up here, but yes, there is a picture of him holding it on the scale. He did a 12.38 pound bass, and that is a heck of a fish. Congratulations on that one, Ryan. That one is still out there swimming around, so you guys can go out there and catch it for yourself. Don't know where it was. That wasn't released. That was confidential information, but that fish is still out there on the water somewhere. Congratulations on that. Here on the end, it's my buddy Billy Blakely. Billy is the head guide at Blue Bank Resort there at Reelfoot Lake, and I tell you, Billy knows how to put them in the boat. Matter of fact, got a picture of him today with a couple of really nice bluegill. They're starting to catch some good bluegill there at Reelfoot, but this obviously is a big, nice slab crappie that he caught about a week ago, and I want to congratulate Billy on that. And you guys get in contact with Mike Hayes and all the folks up here at Blue Bank Resort, and they'll get you up there and get you a boat and get you on the water, and you can do that at Reelfoot yourself. Y'all can send your pictures to us here, Southern Woods and Waters, 474 James Robertson Parkway, or get them to me on Facebook or Instagram, and we'll get them here on the show just as quick as we can. All right, welcome back, everybody. Again, I've got Mr. Sid Herron Jr. here with me tonight. He's from 3rd Regiment Game Calls, and we've been working with 3rd Regiment now for a pretty good while and enjoyed using their calls. We've showed you guys a lot of their products here on the show. They've given several products away on the show, and so just kind of wanted to chat with Sid a little bit tonight. We got turkey season coming up, and I guess one of the first things, just because the video kind of set it up for Sid, is speaking of turkey calling, you know, it don't matter how good of a, number one, it don't matter how good of a turkey call you have, don't matter how good of a turkey caller you are at times. My point is, sometimes it's more important to know when to call than it is how to call, isn't it?
It's set up and when to shut up are your two main things to think about.
Yeah.
People love to hear them gobble. We all do.
It's addicting, isn't it?
It is.
You just want to hear it.
You want to do it and you want to make them gobble,
yeah.
You know. And the bad thing about it is you're slowing that process down when you're doing that.
Yeah.
A lot of people just, once you got him coming, if you just quit and don't say another word, he's going to come looking for you, because you've heard his ego now.
That's
this
right.
hen has walked off from him, and the curiosity will get the best of him.
Yep.
But most people, they want to hear him.
Oh,
they're just going to
know, and we're all guilty of it. We've done it. We've all done it.
I've done it.
You get that bird gobbling, and like you say, you just can't help but want to cut on that call one more time.
Right.
And sometimes it's just too much. And with that video, the way that those birds came in on us, you know, I called, they gobbled off the roost. I knew where they were. I heard some of the hens calling a little bit later. I knew they were on the ground, so I called one more time. They come down and we saw them drop in the field. And from then on, if you'll notice, other than one little yelp here or there, you never heard another sound.
Well, I tell you, I got just a minute to tell you.
Yeah.
But what I play it as a game. It's all a game, and it's like a game of chess. But I imply something that I learned being in door-to-door sales, outside sales and stuff. When you are talking to a customer and you have them hooked, they've always said, the saying is, the last one that speaks loses.
Yeah.
You give your spiel and hush, let them speak.
Yeah.
And you got them.
Yeah.
Same way with, that's the same thing I do with turkey.
That's right.
And the way I do it, I try to get in close with them. If I can, I get as close as I can to their root tree.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, I pick a tree that I want to make it to, and then I go to the next tree past that.
Yeah.
And if I can see him on the limb, if I could ever get him to spin on that limb and turn towards me, he's going to fly out which way his head. Right. Yeah. Whichever way his head pointed, that's where he's going.
That's right.
But once he gets on the ground and the games begin, then all I've got to do is get him interested in working my way. Yeah. And then I'm putting the call down.
And just let him come on.
Right.
And that's what we did. You know, you heard that you know, every once in a while. What that is, and we talk about it a lot on here, that was my shopping bag. Once I get him so close, I feel almost uncomfortable to call. If I think I need him to commit a little closer, you know, for you and I out there hunting, if those birds would have skirted, let's say 40, 50 yards, we're fine. But with Emery, I got to make sure they get in our face.
Right.
So as those hens started kind of going a little bit further around us, we would hit that bag just a little bit, and those birds would look up and gobble past us, and they were thinking there was a hen in them woods they weren't seeing.
Right.
And that was just enough to make them come down there to that edge.
Yep, there's some tricks like that work.
You know what taught me about the kind of one of my biggest lessons about not overcalling and things like that was actually when my dad got more into hunting and was getting a little bit on up in age where he couldn't run around chasing no more. That is not an option for him. Right. And so what we would do is I would drop him off in a blind and give him like an egg call or something, and once every 30 minutes or so he might hit that egg call or whatever, and other than that he'd just sit there and be patient.
Right.
Well, what would happen is where they heard that call, they might have gone past him or whatever an hour ago, they'll come right back to that same call. An hour later, even if you hadn't called again, he will come back around and check that call out. And once I started seeing that happen with Dad, it made me think, well, you know, that bird knows you're there. Once he knows you're there, just leave him alone. And so that's what I do. Once I know they've gobbled at me, I'm like you say, I'm going to try to, that's it, I'm done. They've gobbled at me, they know I'm here, and where else you can get impatient, they might hang up with hens and be hung up out there in front of you at 80 yards for an hour. Yeah. You know, but don't just keep calling at him trying to get him to come over there, you know what I mean? Just let it, he knows you're there and he's going to come over.
You see those posts on Facebook on the groups and stuff of people, new hunters are asking questions, you know, and it's their right to ask the questions, but a lot of that stuff they need to experience for themselves and learn for themselves.
Some of you have to.
But there was one on the other day that said, how do I call a tom off of a group of hens? It is next to impossible.
That's
now,
right.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because it does happen.
It does,
but it's not going to happen very much because he can see that hen that he's with. He can't see you.
He can't see you.
Right. And he's not going to leave that live hen that he, or several hens he's got, to go look for one that he can't even see.
And something else about calling in turkeys that, you know, I was older before I realized this myself. I'd been turkey hunting a few years. But when you're trying to call a gobbler to you or to your hen decoys, you're actually defying nature.
Exactly.
You're doing the opposite of what happens in nature. That gobbler goes out in that field. The reason he's got all those pretty feathers and that big fan that he throws out there and struts with is because he gets out there in that field and he gobbles and he struts, and the hens, they come to him. So when you're calling and trying to get them to come to you, you're literally trying to defy what happens in nature. So it's a tough game. When you got them henned up, like what you were just talking about in that example, you're basically playing the lottery, you know, trying to get that bird to leave those hens and come out there.
That's another question was like, why are these birds gobbling on the roost and then they get on the ground and I don't hear another gobble all day? They're gobbling to attract hens.
Yeah, they're already hens are with them. That's right.
They have no need to gobble again.
Well, guys, we're going to go over and do this week's product of the week. This week's product of the week is being sponsored by our good friends over at Caney Fork Outdoors. You guys can check them out at cfoutdoors.com or get off right there at the Center Hill Dam exit. Go to the bottom of the hill. You'll find them right there at the Big Rock Market, and they can get you outfitted and ready to get on the river for that day or for the rest of the season if that's what you're ready to do. All right, guys, Sid's got our product of the week. What do you have over there for us?
This is 3rd Regiment hardwood maple slate call. This is one of the wood series calls we do. Most of the calls we do are in the plastic pots because we're not in the custom call game.
Yeah, right.
This is a product that we want people to hunt with.
Yeah.
They don't want these calls to sit on a shelf.
That's right. You want them in the woods.
Right. And so most of our calls are the plastic pots that are durable.
Right.
They sound great. Still sound great.
They do. They sound real good.
It's all in how they're put together and the materials that you use for the soundboard and the striking surface.
Yeah.
But this call right here is just it's just a fantastic little call. The wood gives it a little warmth more than than the plastic or whatever. And this is a slate over glass, and it rings out good, and it's durable. It's sealed. We seal our calls from the inside and out. That way they're less susceptible to moisture.
That's right.
But yeah, just a great call if you want something that looks good and sounds good as well.
How can somebody get their own from you guys? Say they want to get
we
one.
direct them to our website at www.3rdregimentgamecalls.com.
Okay.
That's the easiest place to go.
And that's with a 3. That's with a
right,
3, not
with a 3.
Not a TH. That's with a 3.
3RD.
Yeah.
Yep. But we direct them to that because it's easier for them.
That way the order's processed
It's
and everything's
processed and comes
smoother.
through, and we can put it out where it needs to go, and we know that it's been shipped. A lot of times, I mean, we don't do this. This is not our living. So if somebody messages us and says, "Hey, I want to order this, that, and the other," sometimes that gets confusing, and I totally forgot about it before.
And do it. I agree 100%.
So that's the best way to get any of these, and you can find all of our products. We now have 8 different cuts of mouth calls, and I can't even hardly. I've got my name on one of them as my signature call, but I can't pick through one of these calls. Right. And the thing is a lot of your mouth call manufacturers, they're going to manufacture a call that's stretched tight.
Yeah.
Because it'll have a break-in period. You have to use it for a while. If I throw that call in my mouth and it doesn't sound right from the first note, I'm throwing it away.
It's out. That's right.
So we build these calls. I get these calls. I've done all the specs on these calls, and I get them built so they sound good as soon as you stick them in your mouth. Yeah. Now that saying, they may not last as long as a call that's stretched hard that you got them. Because
but
they
you
get
got
loose.
a price right too.
Right.
So,
I mean, at $6 a call.
Yeah, that's right. Get you another one next year.
Right.
Guys, we're going to take another quick break. And whenever we come back, we're going to open the phone lines for you, and we'll have some more Southern Woods and Waters.